Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is a continuation of this confidence series. We started off with kind of the foundations of confidence, what it is, what it isn't, where it kind of comes from, doesn't come from, how we get it. Then we talked about taking up space and filling up the room and letting people know, hey, I'm here. Now today we will talk about my absolute specialty, anxiety and overthinking, because I have studied it, I have done it, I have gotten over it, gotten through it hundreds of thousands of times. And it's something that is, I want to say it's dear to my heart, because it really took me to a place where I didn't know how I was going to get over it. And I did, with a lot of work and consistency. Let's talk about it, because confidence is definitely bogged down by anxiety. Anxiety and overthinking are the confidence killers. I need to give them names, like I don't know what's a woman's name with an O. That's not my baby. It's not my baby Ocean, and Ova or something. But when these come into your life, your confidence is really in danger. Let's talk about it. When it comes to anything mental health, our mind is in control, right? Our mind can be either our biggest cheerleader, our biggest helper, our biggest lover, or our mind can be our worst enemy. It really depends on us as a whole. Even though our mind tends to have a mind of its own, that's not really the case. It's a lot of what we feed it, a lot of what we expose ourselves to, a lot of how we are living our life, a lot of what we think we want. All this can affect how our mind will treat us. When we get those things under control, life is a bit easier. Even though you constantly do have to think about it, it's still better to work on being in a good place than staying in a bad place. If you're a woman, you've probably had a time where you had a good amount of overthinking. Because women, we kind of overthink. I think it's our hormones. I'll blame it on the estrogen. It makes us sit and think about things. But that's kind of in our nature. We are the planners. We are the nurturers. We're the ones in the family usually that make sure everything works itself out, and that we think of everything that needs to be done. And I think that we have dealt with that for so long, especially if you're married or you've been in a relationship. 9 times out of 10, you're making sure that everyone is making it to their doctor's appointments, the house is clean, that everyone's fed, everyone has clean clothes. That is usually the woman's job, or the job that society gives us or we give ourselves. But sometimes that overthinking can start to spiral, and we start overthinking about everything. One big thing is how we look, especially as we age. We have kids, we get older, we work hard, we do things. One day we look at our face and we're just like, what is this wrinkle? Like, what? Who am I? And it's really devastating until you get a hold of that, to look at old pictures like, man, I don't look like that anymore. With all of that, let's talk about how to quiet this overthinking, quiet this doubt, and make sure that our confidence thrives. Let's go into the overthinking cycle. First, we have mental paralysis. If you think about overthinking, this is probably what you think about. Because when you're stuck in thinking about things over and over and over again, you just feel stuck. You feel like you can't think about anything else. The brain tends to prioritize fear and worry. And a lot of times it's about things that'll never happen. And this happens as a protection mechanism for ourselves. We feel that if we worry, we are preparing ourselves for the worst case scenario, right? So we've already worried about it, so it can't be any worse than that. We are protecting ourselves. That's what we think we're doing, even though it's kind of just unnecessary stress for something that will probably not happen. It's kind of like when we have to wake up in the morning for something really important, but yet we're gonna wake up at probably our regular time, maybe a little earlier, and we're so upset We're so worried that we're not going to wake up that we don't sleep at all. We just worry. Oh my God, I'm not going to make it. I'm going to have to rush. I'm going to be super late. I'm not going to get the job or whatever. I'm going to miss my appointment and life is over. When usually that's just not the case. Next, self-sabotage and hesitation, leading to missed opportunities, avoidance of challenges. Overthinking makes it difficult to trust ourselves. This leads to missed opportunities, avoidance of challenges, and second-guessing decisions. More just getting stuck, right? We have a hard time getting to the next level if we're consistently overthinking. And this is especially true when it comes to entrepreneurs. This is how it's been for me. I'm an entrepreneur. I also work a 9-to-5, but I want to be a full-time entrepreneur. That's the goal, right? And I've spent many nights, mornings, weekends, days just thinking about wanting to do something and then thinking about all the ways it could go wrong. Or maybe nobody will want it, or nobody will like it, or maybe people won't like me, or maybe this or that. And at the end of the day, nothing's getting done. I'm not taking any action, so I'll never find out anyway. You get stuck. You get stuck in the fear. And this happens to a lot of people, and that's why we talk about, oh, did you even start? Because you just got caught in the overthinking cycle and you were like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna do that anymore because this can go wrong. But what if it doesn't? What if it all goes right? What if it's perfect? What if you make a whole bunch of money and live happily ever after? Let's talk about how anxiety fuels self-doubt. When you go into anxiety, you go into the fight or flight response, which is the sympathetic nervous system turning on, which happens when there's a threat. Like if there was a bear that was gonna come into my house right now, my body would go into survival mode to fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And it'll do one of these 4 things and it'll kind of determine my survival. Hi, thank you so much for watching my video. I just wanted to interject and say I have a wonderful program that's on sale right now on Teachable for decreasing anxiety, fear, and extreme emotions. This is something that can be used definitely in this climate of America and at our age. Like us millennials, we are going through a lot, so much. And sometimes we need some help and we need some coping mechanisms to get through the day. So if that's you, please check below in the description and make it over to my course. You will really, really enjoy it. It's all inclusive and I'm attached to the course as well. So if you have any questions or concerns, you can reach out to me and I'm there for you. Have a great day. But that should be in extreme circumstances. When anxiety does it at regular, like you're just sitting on the couch and all of a sudden your body goes into sympathetic nervous system, you start feeling the effects of that. Your heart rate goes faster because it's pumping more blood to your body, and what blood carries oxygen. So it's giving more oxygen to your muscles and everything, making you stronger, faster, all that stuff. You notice, you may get muscle tightness or chest pain. And these are just the side effects of the hormones in your body that are increasing, epinephrine, norepinephrine, which is also known as adrenaline or noradrenaline. And it's very hard to deal with that when you're trying to relax. Like if you've ever had like a panic attack or anxiety while you were sleeping, you wake up and your body is just all of a sudden in survival mode and you're just like, what the heck? Why is my heart beating like this? Am I having a heart attack? Am I gonna die? It's very frightening. When we deal with anxiety, we make situations that are not so bad into worst case scenarios. Like we catastrophize. We feel like, oh my God, it's bad, but it's gonna be really bad. If you ever had a financial situation where you're like, I can't afford this, I can't afford that, and you're just like, oh my God, I could lose my house, or I might be homeless, or so many other things, but really you have savings and that's not going to happen, but it feels very imminent, very hard to deal with. We want to rationalize between what's real and what's fake and intrusive. Is what we're worried about, is it really happening? Or are we just having the idea that it might happen? Is there evidence of it, or are we overreacting? Now, women have intuition, and I think that adds another layer to all of this, because women's intuition is real. A woman's intuition, however, when you think about it, it's a subtle thing. It's like a little nudge. It lightly is telling you, usually in a nice way, nah, something's not right here. When it's something like loud and scary and oh my God, that's more likely not women's intuition. That's kind of like, let me sit down and write this down and think, is this really gonna happen or not? And that's one thing that decreases anxiety in people sometimes who are having anxiety is, what's wrong? Why do I feel this way? And am I making it worse than it needs to be? Along with that comes social anxiety and self-esteem. Now, these are things that may have happened or may have started a long time ago that we need to get over. And one of the easiest ways to deal with social anxiety, which is not so easy, is exposure. The more you put yourself in the position that makes you scared, the better you feel. If you don't like to be around crowds, then you kind of need to put yourself into crowds a little bit at a time. Maybe small crowds, maybe the beach crowds are kind of spread out. You see people, but they're not right next to you. I wouldn't say throw yourself into a concert or anything like that, but a little bit of exposure every now and then. And this causes people to isolate. At work, I talk to people who isolate and they never want to leave their house because of their social anxiety. And that's one thing I don't ever push them on, because we all have to make that choice for ourselves, but it does make their life very difficult. They worry about fear or judgment. They worry that people are pointing at them, they're talking about them, that are laughing at them. I have a girl, one of her worries is that every time she hears people laughing when she's outside of her house, she feels like they're always laughing at her. You know, it's a lot to think that everyone is thinking about you, but that's the way it feels. When it comes to being social or being professional or trying to move to the next level of life, this is very, very difficult to deal with. You're overthinking, what are these people thinking about me? And then you're also feeling the effects of the anxiety and the sympathetic nervous system increasing at the same time, which is like a lot of factors. And it just can tumble into chaos. And this is where we need to hold our mind back and think about what is real and what is not. Anxiety is a lie. For example, there may be a networking event coming up that you really, really want to go to, but you're afraid. You're like, all these people are going to know all these things. They're going to be so smart, and I don't know these things. I'm not smart. Or I may not be smart in what they know. Or what can I really offer them? Instead of just going and having a good time, maybe meeting some new friends or colleagues, we have to try. We have to take the action. We have to expose ourselves. And that is one way to help decrease anxiety, is to take action in what we're afraid of and kind of get over the fear of it all. Another thing at times is to break free of perfectionism. My business coach name is Brendan Boyd, and his mantra per se is imperfect action. It doesn't have to be perfect, just do it. If you mess up on a video, still put the video out. Don't scrap the whole thing just because you said something wrong or you did something you didn't like. We have to get away from perfectionism because that's not who we are. And that is why God died on the cross for our sins, right? Jesus did, because we are not perfect and we sin all the time. And I'm not saying that imperfection is sin. I'm just saying that we're not expected to be perfect by any means, by anyone, or by the universe in general. Why do we expect ourselves to be perfect? Many people believe that they need to be perfect in order to be confident. Sometimes I see people on Instagram or people who talk about confidence and their makeup is perfect and their clothes are pressed and beautiful and they're wearing expensive jewelry and they're coming out of a nice car, and it's just like, whoa, that's like the perfect woman right there. If I was a man, I would try to get with her because she is perfection. But that doesn't always help other women, because a lot of times, like me, I'm a mom. I'm very rarely anywhere close to a perfect state, right? Very rarely. I feel like I don't really like to get my nails done. I painted these at work and they're kind of chipping and everything like that, but I don't feel less than because of it. I feel like, well, I need to touch these suckers up. But perfectionists often delay things that they want to do because they have a fear of failing. If I never do it, I can never fail at it. But we all know that failure is a part of life. And we need to fail so we can succeed, so we can learn what we need to learn in order to succeed. It's okay to not know things, but if you want to stay ignorant, then don't do anything and just sit there and not chase your dreams. There's lots of people that don't chase their dreams, they never do, and then they end up in the grave with dreams unfulfilled. Let that not be you today. I don't want to be me, and that's why I'm here, despite the fact that just a couple of years ago, I was like, how in the world can I get on video and talk to people? I would never do that. Like, never. I was like, I have nothing to say. I'm not pretty enough. My voice is weird. My face can be weird. I'm not photogenic. Thinking all these things, and one day I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do it anyway. Just embrace good enough. Imperfect action is just good enough action. And all we can do is try to be the best that we can be. And the best that we can be is not always gonna be 100% or even 95%. It might be 40%. But that's okay. Go with it anyway. If that's all you have that day, go with it anyway. That's enough. That's all you need. Don't get into a cycle of not doing anything because it's not the perfect time. It's never going to be the perfect time for most things. We can just try to prepare to be ready. Like, say if you're someone who puts out content and you go viral. If you go viral, do you have everything set up in the back end to support that? Like, if you're selling stuff, do you have the funnels up? Do you have a place where people can buy things from you? Do you have the inventory? Why worry about going viral if you don't have that set up anyway? Just work on what you can do. Take a step back and do the stuff in the background. Work on that as well. Work on the back end as well as working on the front end. And when you are doing multiple things like that until you can hire someone, unless you have the means to hire someone to help you, everything is definitely not going to be perfect because you're not going to have the time for perfection, and that's okay. One day, you'll have employees, and that's what matters. Apply to the job anyway. Wink at that man anyway, if that's what you're looking for. Go on that vacation. Plan that trip, girl. Go do it. Just go do it. Don't be nervous. Just try. Let's go into some coping mechanisms. You want to break free of perfectionism, if that's what's holding you back, and the overthinking that comes with that, because that's a lot of overthinking there. You do not get confidence through perfectionism whatsoever. You get confidence by putting yourself out there, failing, putting yourself out there again, failing, putting yourself out there again, failing, putting yourself out there again, and winning. That's how you get confidence. Or you learn what needs to be done. You get confidence by practice. Like, we all hear practice makes perfect. That's what increases our confidence. We just have to believe that we can do it. Continue to believe no matter how many times you mess up. Strategies to stop overthinking. First, the 5-second rule. Now this was coined by Mel Robbins, or since she has some second rule. Basically, it's counting backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Action. Go. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. Just do it. I don't think it's a bad thing whatsoever. I tried it instead of hitting the snooze button to get out of bed. My alarm will go off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just get up. I have to say that I hated it, but it does work. But you have to be committed to actually doing the action after the countdown goes. But if you're committed to that, which you can be, try it. 2, whatever you're overthinking about, what's the worst case scenario? Think about the worst thing that could happen and decide if that's likely. And if it is likely, how would you handle it if it happened? You might as well do a little preparation just in case. Just think about it. What's the worst thing that could happen if I go and I interview for that lovely job that I want? What? They never call me back? That's okay. Decision journaling. Instead of letting thoughts loop in your mind over and over again, write them down. Maybe write down the pros and the cons. Write down what about that decision, why you want to make it. in whichever way it is, to do something or to not do something. What is the reason? And then rationalize it. But a lot of times when we write things down, we can see them clearer because we don't have our emotions following up our thoughts. Let's talk about some mindfulness, which is kind of a mental training, and everyone should do mindfulness exercises or have some kind of mindfulness tool in their back pocket that they can turn to. 1, shifting the focus from overthinking to the present. Try not to worry about the future. Try not to worry about the past. Anxiety does not usually live in the present. Anxiety lives in what you're worried about in the future or what you wish you could have changed about something that happened in the past. It doesn't live here. I could have anxiety that I don't want to edit this video, that I may not get any views, but right now, in the present, all I can do is shoot the video. None of that matters. It doesn't matter how many views my last video had or anything like that, or how much money I didn't make. It's all about, am I doing the thing right now? Have you ever tried a grounding exercise? They're really easy. You do, it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but it's not the same as counting down and then going. No hesitation. It's, you think of 5 things that you may see, 4 things that you hear, 3 things that you feel, 2 things that you can touch, maybe 1 thing you can smell. I always put smell at the bottom around 1 or 2 because more likely you're not gonna smell a whole bunch of different things at the same time. But really they can be in any order. You don't have to memorize it. But it helps you stay mindful of the present. You wanna stay in the present of what's happening around you right now. That is where you are supposed to be. That is what you are supposed to be doing, is whatever you're doing in the present. That's your number 1 purpose in life, is whatever that is. You're with your kids, you're focusing on your kids. You're at work, you're focusing on work. Do you visualize yourself succeeding? Do you see yourself in whatever you see yourself in? I want to say a big house, but people are opting for small houses these days. People are living in vans and trucks, and I think that's what you want. That's fabulous, especially if you get to roll around and travel and do what you need to do. I could never do that with my kids. But whatever it is that you want in life, see yourself there. You already have it in you. It's already yours. Give it to God and have faith and do the works that need to be done to make it happen. If you have to speak and doing a presentation, visualize yourself there. You may have ever seen in like a movie or a cartoon. Usually it's like a dancer or of some sort. They always go to the auditorium and then they see all the seats and they're on stage and they're just looking, they're just like, oh my God. But then it'll cut to a scene where they visualize themselves and it seems like they're performing, but it's really happening in their mind and they're just kind of preparing themselves. Do that. If you're going to speak somewhere and you have access to the room, go in there and just fill the space out. Don't let it make you nervous, just fill it out. It's a regular room and it's going to be filled with regular people just like you, who have flaws and fears and anxieties and all sorts of things. But ground your thoughts before doing something that makes you really nervous. It'll help. Sometimes you may need to quiet your mind. Have you ever heard people say when you're trying to go to sleep to count sheep? That's supposed to be a way to quiet your mind. I've tried it, and that'd definitely be something that I would have to practice, but you're supposed to visualize the sheep literally jumping over the gate or the fence and counting 1, 2, and eventually you're supposed to fall asleep. One way of doing this, and that also decreases the sympathetic nervous system and causes you to relax, is breathing exercises. Doing deep breathing. That's kind of why people do yoga or meditation, because it's a lot of thinking about your breath and focusing on your breath, which keep you mindful in the present state because you're breathing right now. You're thinking about the breath that's happening in this moment. And if you just focus on the breath, sometimes people play nature music or listen to running water, or you're just focusing on the sounds literally around you. With some time and some practice, your mind will kind of hush. Do you have trouble making decisions? Then make a goal of making some easy decisions for your day and getting through those. Like, you're celebrating your wins, your goals. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could be that you wanted to make a dinner and you did it. Celebrate that you did it. Like, that's good stuff. Make 5 decisions if you can of anything you want, and then just make it happen. But keep them small and little, and then work up from there. You want to do things that are going to make you feel confident. You want to do things that you can do. Don't try to make yourself do things that you probably will not be able to do in the little bit of time you have before you have to pick up the kids and get things done at home. Don't do that to yourself. Do a positive reframe exercise of how you feel. Instead of telling yourself, I think I'm gonna mess that up, say, I think that might be a great challenge for me. I may love this. I may have found my new calling. Ooh, that talk, I don't want to give that talk. I don't even know, what am I doing? I am excited to give this talk. I am excited to learn the things that I need to do to teach these people about this thing. Just reframe it in a positive thought. It's kind of like an affirmation in a way, which are also helpful. Keeping our thoughts as positive as possible helps. Let's work on letting go of our anxieties. Anxiety is an emotion. Anxiety is an emotion. It is not a disease. It is not bad health. It is not something to be embarrassed about. It is a normal emotion. It's one that sometimes people get an anxiety disorder from. It's one that can sometimes take over someone's life. Just kind of like sadness at times. Depression and sadness are a bit different because depression can be definitely a chemical imbalance, but a temporary depression can be being sad and staying in that sadness zone and not ever throwing any positivity in there. If you feel anxious about something coming up, do some of the coping exercises. Believe that you can do it. And be okay with you messing up if you mess up. I'm listening to an audiobook right now called The Courage to Be Disliked, I think? No. Yes, The Courage to Be Disliked. It's a very interesting book, but it kind of talks about how all the bad things that happen to us are from interpersonal relationships. And it's a lot about how we think about ourselves in regards to others and things like that. But I bring that up basically to say that it's okay to be okay with the bad thing happening. The bad thing that may happen is probably more than likely 99% of the time not that bad. Some uncomfortableness, maybe if you had high expectations, maybe your expectations aren't met, but it's not usually that terrible, horrible thing that we think about in our mind. With that, please share, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to say that more through the video, but I always forget. My name is Dr. Chandra Smallwood. I'm a confidence over anxiety coach. I'm also a clinical psychiatric pharmacist, and a mom, and a fitness enthusiast, even though not right now, because I'm pregnant, and it's hard to find the time to work out with these kids and this baby. But once this baby's out of my body, I'm back at it. And I have some weird cravings. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions, or let me know what you do to help with your anxiety, increase your confidence, stop your overthinking. What you do can maybe help someone else out. Hopefully I'll see you in the comments, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. It'll be the 4th video in this series, and I'm excited for everyone.